He's experienced. He's so smart. He have everything in a fighter, a complete fighter. He don't have power in the punches, but sometimes you don't need it. You know, when you that kind of fighter, you don't need it.
He knows distance well, and I don't think the other guys can reach him or capitalize off of it.
Now, everybody's saying decision. Could a stoppage be on the table? Because you said frustrate him.
Yeah, for sure. A stoppage is always in the works. These guys fighting with 8 ounces on no head gear. Anything can happen. It's boxing. Just be himself. Be him. Don't listen to the crowd. Don't listen to these fans. Don't listen to these haters, these saying daughters. Just be him. Do what he do best, and that's one.
He's more of a fighter. He's a ring generalship. He's in there thinking. He's calm. He's having fun because Teofimo's been proving it before. And I gotta emphasize this. If someone can pull it off, it's definitely Teofimo Lopez. If Teofimo Lopez doesn't do it, I don't see who is gonna beat Shakur Stevenson.
Many boxing experts believe Teofimo Lopez could have the upper hand against Shakur Stevenson. They argue that Lopez's high ring IQ, fast movement, and aggressive style might be too much for Stevenson's more technical, defensive approach to handle.
Showed you that he can fight inside, he can fight outside. He would have the advantage of power in this fight. You know one thing that I love about this fight, Bud? Shakur's very athletic, very talented. So is Teofimo. He's more explosive with power. But Teofimo is very athletic. He is very talented. You got two athletic guys, two talented guys. Again, Teofimo I would favor with the power. This is going to be interesting.
Fighters and experts say Teofimo's size and strength give him a big edge over a lighter, skilled opponent like Shakur Stevenson.
He's a very special athlete. And as a competitor, he is one of those guys who saves his A game for a fellow elite opponent. That's when he really rises his game and shows us the Teofimo Lopez that everybody thought he was when he was a prospect. People used to look at him and say, oh, this guy is going to be the star in boxing. It didn't really play out that way, but every now and then he reminds us how special he is.
Teofimo is a two-division Ring Magazine champion. In both fights where he won the Ring Magazine championship, he was the underdog. 4-1 underdog against Lomachenko. People forget, Lomachenko was taking elite fighters in the lower divisions and they were quitting.
Yes.
He was beating them into some, they were like, I can't do this, right? And Teofimo beat him. Right, he outboxed him.
Yeah, he didn't do it by physically imposing himself on him.
He outboxed him. He outfought him. He had speed, power, and then again against Josh Taylor at junior welterweight, he was the underdog. So he saves his best for his biggest moment.
Lopez said he plans to make the fight messy, using his size and strength at 140 pounds to disrupt Stevenson's rhythm and land big punches, aiming for a stoppage instead of a slow decision.
Very talented, skillful, technique fighter.
Yeah.
Can't take anything away from it. However, scared to get hit. Scared to get knocked out in front of the world. Scared to get touched up in front of the world.
Are you saying that off of the last fight or just
in general?
In general.
In general.
Yeah.
In general. Me and Shakur sparred before. We did 3 rounds, and it was just light work. And me trying to figure out his jab. Does he have a good jab? Yeah, he does. But once you pass his jab, it's game.
Shane Mosley believes Stevenson could be making a mistake by taking on such an explosive fighter at 140 pounds. The worry isn't about Stevenson's skill, but how his body will handle the added weight.
I don't think that, maybe. I mean, Shakur might show some different, if he has to go after Teofimo, he might show some different type of heart that we haven't seen or different type of fighting we haven't seen. And vice versa, whereas Teofimo's hitting him with different shots off the angle that is kind of giving, Shakur Stevenson trouble. We'll see about that. So we just don't know.
Yeah, the thing is I think people overlook of Teofimo is he can box when he wants to. Like, he's shown he has a slick style too when he wants to do that.
When he wants to do that. So if you have a slick style and you got power and you got the speed too, and you're fighting at 140, so let's see. I don't know if Shakur Stevenson is going to get slower moving up in weight or not, where Teofimo can hit him. Maybe he was really fast at 130, 26-30, maybe 35, but 40, you put on a little bit more weight. I think that he holds the weight probably really, really good, but you just don't know.
Fighters who moved up in weight warned that Stevenson might be slower at 140 pounds, losing the sharp footwork and lightning-fast reactions that make him dominant. Meanwhile, Lopez excels at speed, power, and physicality at that weight.
Scenario. What if it's the Teofimo that beat Lomachenko? What if that Teofimo shows up?
Like I said, and Lomachenko is a not easy fight. Teofimo was able to be in the ring with different type of fighters and figure it out. The fighters that Shakur Stevenson was in with, they couldn't figure it out or get close to figuring it out. Whereas Teofimo had to figure out that type of style, and Lomachenko is a hard fight to fight. So that's why this fight is so interesting. And for Shakur Stevenson to move up to 140 to fight him is definitely a hats off to him.
Do you have a favorite on paper in that fight at all, Shane?
I believe it's 50-50. It's a fight that I just have to sit down and watch and just want to see, like I said, who imposed their will on the other.
Experts like Andre Ward say the fight could come down to tiny details. Execution on fight night, timing, and conditioning. Because at the top level, their styles are very closely matched.
Them both, because Teo knows it's going to be a real fight. Shakur knows it's going to be a real fight. And I look at Shakur like a fighter who has a blank canvas. He's got the IQ, he got the experience, and the athleticism, and the skill set where he can paint any type of picture he wants to on a blank canvas. When I look at Teofimo Lopez, he's almost that. He has a blank canvas, but he needs an outline on what to draw and what to paint inside the line. Now, every now and again, he'll go away from the outline that he has and he'll do something dope, and you'll be like, oh, that was cool. That wasn't on the outline right there. But I don't think that he can create on the fly like a Shakur Stevenson. But what he does bring to the table, and what Shakur does have to deal with, is explosive power, quick twitch, muscles, and the type of punches that he likes to throw. And Teo doesn't have the foot game that Shakur has, but he's got a decent foot game.
Max Kellerman says Stevenson has more to lose with his undefeated technical reputation, while Lopez has more to gain as the underdog, making the fight risky and unpredictable.
Is fighting to protect that perfect record, to protect that kind of sense that he's the next guy. On the other hand, Teo is like he can fight with more abandon against Shakur because there's so much for him to gain. And if he loses, he's lost before. He's lost to Campbell.
Shakur Stevenson is fighting to protect his perfect record and his status as the next big star. Teofimo Lopez, on the other hand, can fight more freely with less pressure since he has more to gain and fewer expectations. Paulie Malignaggi points out that Stevenson's elite defense makes him extremely difficult to beat, but he also believes that if Lopez performs his very best, he has a real chance to upset Stevenson and win.
That is most dangerous when he's counted out. And this is going to be one of those fights where he's going to be counted out. Because Shakur is looked at by and large as the guy who can dominate boxing in this generation, right? It's just a matter of him getting the opportunity. I myself have felt that he's the guy who could and should be dominating boxing if he gets the right matchups. But bro, this is one of the rare matchups, if not maybe the only matchup, where I feel like is a big threat here to Shakur. And then they would all come undone because of this reason. Teofimo Lopez, we've seen him at his best, but he typically brings out his best characteristics when he's back against the wall and he's counted out. And he's going to be counted out in this fight. By and large, people are going to side with Shakur in this fight to win the fight because he's the more consistent fighter, he's the more class fighter overall, and he's just so damn good. There's just something about Teofimo, man. He brings out a different level and somehow supersedes that guy who is that damn good. I've seen it. We've seen it already. I'm not saying anything that anybody else hasn't already seen, okay? I'm just stipulating it. I'm going to tell you right now, I don't know who wins this fight. Because again, your better head says Shakur, but then you think about, man, Teofimo. Again,
he's got the X factor.
I just explained.
He's got the talent to.
I'm telling you right now.
Yeah.
Shakur is extremely talented and could be the face of boxing as far as being that good and being that dominant, even though no matter how good you are. But this is one of the rare fights where you can get beat. And I don't ever want to hear any of you tank nut huggers that he fights one Uber driver after another. If Shakur Stevenson loses this fight, I don't ever want to hear any of you saying, oh, well, what about Shakur now? We'll tank this.
While Teofimo Lopez's explosiveness and power give him a real chance to win, he must be ready for Shakur Stevenson's elite defense and movement. Stevenson will rely on these skills to control distance, frustrate Lopez, and avoid taking big shots.
That being said, then what does Teo got to do to win?
He has to get Shakur up. How would I say this? I don't want to just make it seem like come across as if Shakur is novice, but the times that Shakur is putting himself against the ropes, this is the time that Teofimo is going to have to depend on his explosiveness. He's going to have to depend on his offset lead right hands. He's going to have, but even doing that, everything with Teo comes off his front foot, his explosiveness, his speed, everything. So it's almost like whenever the times he gets Shakur up against the rope, he got to pick his shots well, but then after that, he have to be ready to defend because with Shakur, the return is always coming. So he got to go into the offensive lane, but he have to go into it with good defense, which in my opinion, he really don't do that good when he's going into offense. He usually come in to an offense lane, like with his lead hand down, coming with head movement. But I just believe when you do get closer to Shakur, he's going to have to overload with work. He's going to have to really double up with one hand. He's going to have to use his feet, bust angles, things of that nature. So
Devin Haney says that for Teofimo Lopez to beat Shakur Stevenson, he needs to be much more active and aggressive throughout the fight. Lopez's power and explosiveness are dangerous, but in recent bouts, his output has been inconsistent, which let a highly technical, mobile fighter like Stevenson control the pace. Stevenson thrives on movement, counterpunching, and managing distance. To win, Lopez must throw more punches, press forward constantly, and force engagements instead of waiting for perfect openings. Staying active will disrupt Stevenson's spacing and prevent him from settling into the defensive rhythm that usually frustrates aggressive fighters.
For boxing, I'm excited to see that. Styles make fights. I think Shakur is just a more superior boxer. I think that Teo is athletic and he has skills, but I see Shakur winning.
You think Teo, to win a fight like that, would have to be a little bit more active? He seems like he likes to throw one punch at a time.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, he could be athletic, but I think he would just have to be, it would have to be a method to his madness for sure. I don't think athletic would just.
Teofimo Lopez is clear. He won't let Shakur Stevenson take the belt he's worked so hard to earn. He highlights the sacrifices behind his success, saying the title represents years of struggle, pain, and dedication. For Lopez, this fight is about defending what he built through hard work and perseverance. He has full confidence in himself and is determined to hold his ground in the ring. He sees this moment as deeply personal.
Exactly. Of being in the ring,
yes.
Shakur Stevenson. Obviously, you guys are both in Las Vegas. I'm hearing that you did link up today. A face-off happened between the two of you?
Face-off happened. Things of that nature. Just to create the things that are in motion already. So we're really adamant about fighting each other next, and I can't wait for us to really lace it up. And I see him across the ring, and really when that bell rings, lights out for him.
What's it like seeing him now kind of face to face? When you look at him, what do you see? Because obviously you're not locked in just yet, and the closer it gets to a fight, obviously things turn a little bit. But when you do look at Shakur, what do you think of him?
I think I don't think too much of it. I think that he believes in himself. That's one thing. But I'm here to destroy his dreams and all that he wants to do and become. You can't take this from me. I worked very hard for it. I've bled for this, and I'm not taking nothing from him, but I just believe that what's gonna happen next is for destiny in the boxing ring to decide. Let the people really see what it was and has always been: the best fighting the best, and the winner becomes the man or the woman.
Yeah, fighting Shakur Stevenson, he is an exceptional fighter. He comes under a lot of criticism though for his style of fighting. Some people describe him as a boring fighter. How do you think the fight between you two will play out, and what do you think needs to happen to negate people saying that about that fight?
No, that's a thoughtful question. Honestly, it's a real nice assessment to see how everyone looks at a certain fighter, right? And I think that holds on to Shakur Stevenson when people say he's boring or he's not as entertaining. And I think that with a fighter like himself, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. He's undefeated for a reason. Maybe some people don't like it, but this is why the takeover is here. To make it at least fun and make it great, and do what I can to engage on that. Now, how do we do that? Well, you guys got to tune.
Bruce Carrington, a respected boxing analyst and former fighter, points out a key weakness in Teofimo Lopez when facing Shakur Stevenson: difficulty handling dynamic movement and disciplined spacing. While Lopez is extremely athletic, explosive, and a hard hitter, Carrington notes that he has struggled in the past when opponents constantly change angles and avoid predictable positioning. Stevenson's composure, tactical awareness, and distance control could exploit this, forcing Lopez to overcommit, miss shots, or grow frustrated if he can't trap Stevenson.
Teo is going to bring the fight. He's very athletic. He has a lot of explosiveness, but I do feel like when it comes to Shakur, bro, his movement may frustrate him. The only thing that worries me when it comes to Teofimo is his frustration. Like, is he going to be able to work well with a mover? We've seen, difficulties that he had with Sandor Martin. We've seen the difficulties that he had with Jimmy Ortiz, guys that's been moving around and not staying still. Like, if you keep Teo moving around and he can't plant his feet, what can he do? We're going to have to find that out on, January 31st. And I think Shakur, he's probably one of the best guys to, move his feet, be on defense, being hella patient and frustrating a fighter, bro. Like, so we got to see what his mentality is going to be like come January 31st.
Do you think that his experience on the biggest of stages, his two biggest wins, he was an underdog. And both guys, ironically enough, were southpaws like Shakur. That play any factor to you, man?
Nah, styles is different. The styles are totally different. Lomachenko don't fight like Shakur. Josh Taylor don't fight like Shakur. I don't see, just because southpaw, that same thing will happen. I feel like certain techniques could be used to fight Shakur, yeah. But in terms of like that approach of the fight, nah. Like, Shakur fights totally different. You gotta be able to do some out of pocket stuff with Shakur. You gotta throw while he's throwing. That's probably some of the only times that he's able to get hit. Only time he's open. So
Greg Hackett gives a clear but balanced prediction for Shakur Stevenson versus Teofimo Lopez. He leans towards Stevenson winning by decision, citing his discipline, ring IQ, and ability to control fights. However, he stresses that boxing is unpredictable and Lopez can't be underestimated. Hackett points out that Teofimo's explosiveness, timing, or sheer effort could change a fight in an instant. Still, Stevenson's consistency and preparation stand out as the key factors. Hackett believes Shakur fully understands the threat Lopez poses and will train harder than ever, knowing this is a defining matchup for both fighters. With two elite athletes at their peak, Hackett sees this as a battle where greatness meets greatness, and anything can happen.
Shakur, yeah, my first mind told me Shakur, and I thought about it. Yeah, I'm picking Shakur by decision, but because this is fighting, anything can happen. You can't count Teo out. So there is thoughts sometimes that cross my brain, like, damn, what if Teo catch him like real good though? You know what I mean? And hurt him. Or what if he just out hustling? You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of shit across my mind, but I still like Shakur for the dub. I like Shakur for the dub because he knows how to win. Like, he knows how to win. You know what I'm saying? And he's always prepared to win. So, and I think Shakur respects Teo to the point where he gonna train like he's never trained before, because this is a great fight for him. This is probably the best fight of his career. When you put Magic and Bird together, it happens. You know what I'm saying? And this is the kind of situation it is. Magic Johnson was nice, but Larry Bird was nice. You put them together, you get a nice game. You know what I mean? So you put these two together, you get a nice fight.
Is this one of the fights that we're going to remember historically? Like, is this a,
to go back and
it's
study.
19, it's 19, when did Leonard and Hearn's first fight? Is this one of them?
That shit was like 87 or some shit. Yeah.
It's 19.
Like 87 or something. 86,
No, it had to be earlier than that, right?
84
the first
maybe.
One? Yeah, like
I don't know, because he was in the 76 Olympics. Well, no, 70.
Wasn't it 78?
No, they ain't fight 78.
No, I'm saying 78 Olympics, wasn't he?
Probably 78 or some shit.
Teofimo Lopez brings explosive power, size, and constant forward pressure. He's proven he can hurt opponents who stay in range and trade punches. Many analysts note that he struggles against fighters who consistently disrupt rhythm with movement and angle changes. Shakur Stevenson's strength is in controlling distance, dynamic footwork, and precise timing, tools he uses to frustrate pressure fighters and avoid clean shots. If Stevenson keeps Lopez moving, constantly changes levels and angles, and forces him to reset his attack, Lopez may miss more than he lands and grow frustrated. Stevenson's discipline, spacing, and tactical approach could limit Lopez's power, and make it hard for him to impose his usual aggressive style.
Shakur Stevenson can win this on points, Spencer, but he's going to have to be at his very, very best. As we look at these images of the two men, this is the fight that ignites the American market this year. It's obviously got the backing of Turki Al Sheikh, Ring Magazine. The key for me is, can Shakur be big enough to withstand what Teo is going to bring physically as well as psychologically and technically in this fight?
Absolutely, and that's the fascination surrounding this fight. You look at this one and you say, Shakur Stevenson, if he can step up another weight division and become 4-weight world champion, this is his chance now to become that superstar, that all-time great. Not just a generational great, but an all-time great. And I've really believed that. Like I've always said, Shakur Stevenson for me will emerge as this great fighter, and I think this is his fight right now. I think that he wins this fight as well.
Teofimo Lopez believes Shakur Stevenson took the fight to prove a point. He says Stevenson was inspired by Terence Crawford's upset over Canelo Alvarez and now wants to make his own statement by beating Lopez. Lopez also points out that Stevenson had few other challengers at 140 pounds, seeing this fight as his chance to prove he belongs at the top after witnessing someone close to him reach a major milestone. Lopez adds that he plans to expose weaknesses in Stevenson's defense, arguing that Stevenson's motivation comes as much from proving himself as from going after the title.
Me. I believe in me before anybody else believed in me. Shakur is stepping up because he got nobody else to go after. He's stepping up to try to prove a point. His big bro, a.k.a. Terence Bud Crawford, put a huge upset and made a historical moment in time. I think those things like that make Shakur want to step up the plate, step up to the challenge, and face Teofimo. Who is I? We were stablemates, me and Shakur, top rank. He talks about this and that and about I was jealous of him. No, I'm not. You were a 2016 USA silver medalist. You're going to get your signing bonus and all that extra stuff. Thing was, they were trying to secure him in a different route because they had put a lot of money in him. Me, I think I was just supposed to be an opponent eventually. I'm possessively obsessed with this. That's why they call me crazy. It's all right.
Robert Garcia, the elite trainer of fighters like Virgil Ortiz Jr., shared his thoughts on Stevenson versus Lopez and revealed his pick. While he admits that Shakur Stevenson is the more technically skilled boxer, Garcia is backing Teofimo Lopez to win. Not because Lopez is clearly better overall, but because Garcia values his mentality, heart, and warrior spirit. Points to Lopez's confidence, toughness, and willingness to throw power shots under pressure as potential game changers, especially if Lopez stays focused and performs at his best. According to Garcia, the fight will ultimately be decided by who executes their strategy and keeps composure on fight night.
Who has had some great performances, great wins. Shakur is also 3-division champion, going for his 4th. Unbelievable talent. It's a fight where we're going to see talent from both, but we also have to see heart. That who has that heart to become the man. I think that fight's gonna be more about who's smarter, who plays the better cards, and who doesn't make mistakes. Because it's gonna be one of those fights where we might not have too much action, but we're all gonna be standing up because we want to see who's gonna land and who's gonna be the one that finds those punches to land. It's a very interesting fight, and they're both in their prime. They're both, that's what boxing.
The Lopez and Stevenson fight. Stevenson will rely on speed and defense. Lopez on power. The winner will control the fight and land the big shots.